And a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Our focus is on the North Central today, but first, our top stories. The newly appointed sole administrator of Rivers State, Rear Admiral Ekwe Ibas, retired, has officially resumed duty following his appointment by President Bola Tinubu. The former naval chief arrived at the Government House, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, alongside some security heads at noon, following a formal reception at the airport led by the state head of service. He proceeded to the state executive council chambers and was received by permanent secretaries. He immediately held a closed-door meeting with the security heads, the Commissioner of Police, the SS Director, Head of Service, and permanent secretaries. Speaking to journalists after the meeting, the sole administrator noted that discussions were still ongoing with security heads. He, however, said that the situation in Rivers State appears calm and pledged to ensure it remains the same.
I want to thank you also for what you've been doing so far. You're all aware I just got in here and decided to meet with the head of service and the permanent secretaries and the service commanders. I'm going to have to meet with them to get the formal briefings from all those I met this afternoon. And then I believe it is only proper for me thereafter to have something to say to you all. And I assure you that perhaps later this evening I'll be in the right position to address you and then to address the issues that you may want to raise now. Port Harcourt is my city. Everything appears calm, and though I know that the situation is there, but we just want Port Harcourt to get back to where it has always been.
However, a coalition of political leaders led by the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar have faulted the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. At a media briefing in the nation's capital, Abuja, the coalition holds the view that the president acted contrary to the provisions of the Constitution and that section he relied on was wrongly applied. The group rejected the declaration, describing it as unconstitutional, and made 4 basic demands as follows: the immediate reversal of the action. They asked the National Assembly to reject it. Even though they've now supported it, they asked for a judicial intervention striking down the declaration and asked citizens, civil society groups to stand up and defend democracy. The group urged Nigerians not to forget the historic unrest in the Niger Delta region, which was only managed by the efforts and sacrifices of the previous administrations. It adds that the federal government must not manufacture a political crisis that could threaten the fragile stability in the Niger Delta region. Meanwhile, the National Assembly has officially approved President Bola Tinubu's proclamation of a state of emergency in Rivers State, invoking its constitutional powers under the amended 1999 Constitution. The approval grants the president the authority to enforce emergency measures while mandating a review of the situation at any time, but not later than 6 months. In accordance with the Constitution, the National Assembly has also imposed a joint committee of both chambers to oversee the administration of affairs in Rivers State during the emergency period. The Senate has also resolved to establish a mediation committee consisting of eminent Nigerians to help resolve the political crisis in Rivers State. To other top stories now, a high court sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State, has dismissed the case involving the death of over 30 children at the 2024 Christmas Fun Fair in Ibadan. Justice Ladiran Akintola, who gave the judgment, cleared Queen Naomi Oriyomi Hamzat and the school principal Abdullahi Fasasi of all the charges. According to the state prosecutor and the Attorney General of the state, Abiodun Akumo, the case was withdrawn after affected families showed empathy towards the defendants and requested its withdrawal. He confirmed that some families had received compensation and seized documents had been returned. The defendants were initially charged over the funfair tragedy that claimed the lives of 30 minors who died as a result of a stampede that ensued at the venue. The Benue State Police Command, through its Operation Zenda Joint Task Force, has undertaken a series of raids as part of concerted efforts to tackle crime. A statement signed by the force Public Relations Officer, ASP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, says on March the 19th at about 2 a.m., operatives of the task force encountered an ambush set by bandits while on their way to a hideout in Buruku local government area. The statement explains that a fierce gun duel ensued, during which the police operatives neutralized 12 bandits, while a member of the police team sustained injury and eventually died. It adds that the IGP has commended the bravery and dedication of the operatives and extended heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of the fallen officer. Still in Benue State, a group of youths under the aegis of Project Fairness has called on Governor Hyacinth Alia, the traditional institution and political leaders in the state to support the emergence of a governor from the Idoma ethnic group. The youth right campaigners, who are of Tiv-speaking area of the state, ask that fairness and justice be given to their Idoma brothers, who have been marginalized since 1976 when the state was created.
Young people from the 5 Tiv-speaking political zones in Benue State under the aegis of Project Fairness, Benue 2027, converged on Makurdi, the state capital, to campaign for power shift to Benue South. The political rights campaigners call on Governor Hyacinth Alia, the traditional institutions and stakeholders to zone the 2027 governorship seat to Benue South to enable the state produce the first governor from the Idoma extraction since Benue was created in 1976.
We believe that the Idoma nation has the capacity in leading the state, having contributed in all democratic processes. Ordinarily, our 5 Tiv clans have tested the #1 seat of Benue State. And in 2023, it was done on us to support one of the Zone C sons. But again, our sentiment for Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia came like a hurricane. And collectively, we still gave in to it. And now we have him as the governor.
Coordinators from Goa West and Goa East local government areas, while speaking at the briefing, say the Tiv maxim of eat and give your brothers should be extended to the Idoma ethnic group, since all the 5 political blocs in Benue have produced governors over and over.
Everybody knows what fairness is, and if we're being fair to our own brothers, the Idoma extraction in the states are our own brothers. And just like the Tiv slogan said, Yana Wengba, I think it's high time for now, even the present governor, to put into consideration to give the Idoma people also the chance to rule. Because if you check the back record, it has never been.
I think they will do, because the aim of this project is for we, the Tiv people, to cooperate with the Idomas. At least it's high time we eat and give our brothers that have been supporting us, and I feel with this project they will also come together to support us.
In the 2023 elections, the Idoma ethnic group from Benue South raised serious issues regarding their marginalization in the Benue power equation. It is, however, a new twist, with young rights campaigners from the Tiv areas calling for power shifts in 2027 to Benue South.
As part of measures to cater to communities with large population of students, the Kwara state government has embarked on the construction of mega schools with modern facilities and equipment to enhance learning. At the inspection of the ongoing construction of one of such schools, the governor assured residents that priority will continue to be given to the educational development of the children, despite their background.
Kwara State has 2,887 schools, including 1,814 primary schools. As part of efforts to cater for areas and communities with a high population of students, the state government has embarked on construction of well-equipped modern mega facilities.
We want it to be a modern school for any other schools within and around the state. Schools with heavy population, like that of LGS, could be Adeta. Henceforth, we'll keep constructing schools like that. But where we have schools scattered all around, we will maintain, based on needs assessment, we will maintain the existing construction of schools. If a particular community is in need of 3 or 4 classrooms, we provide that decent 4 or 5 classrooms based on the numbers and, of course, the needs assessment of that school.
During an inspection visit to one of the sites, the state governor appreciates the level of work done so far. The school, he says, will be replicated across the state and improve the learning process in addition to hiring and training of teachers, which would change the narrative in the state.
This is a prototype Kwara Learn school. Prototype in the sense that we have to rethink how we design and build our schools, learning environment. Prototype means that it will also be replicated across the state. The way our schools look, normally it's just a box with windows. The environment will change, attention to details, how we learn. Hitherto our challenges in education is the infrastructure, the curriculum, and training the teachers. So we're tackling all at the same time, simultaneously.
The visibly happy governor announces that improvement in the sector has made parents withdraw their words from private schools to the public schools and promises to do more.
A coalition of civil society organizations known as the Kogi Central People's Alliance has kicked against calls for the recall of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The Deputy General of the Alliance, Mr. Sheikh Maman, insists that the suspension of the lawmaker is unjustified. The group is reacting to a viral video of some residents of the senatorial district suspected of carrying out a recall process.
This is a viral video of what appears to be residents of Kogi Central Senatorial District allegedly carrying out a recall process for the lawmaker representing the zone in the Senate. The Kogi State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Gabriel Longpit, told our correspondent that the Independent National Electoral Commission is not aware of the exercise. The video spurred this peaceful protest by some members of Kogi Central Senatorial District. Singing solidarity songs, the coalition marched from Okene Township to Ekwe Junction. The group is questioning the continued suspension of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, vowing to resist any move to recall her.
We are confident in her. We have all our pride in her. By the grace of God, whatever forces that is behind the unjustified treatment that is being meted to her, may God Almighty abolish everything.
A tiny spark can burn a house. It has started, and I pray it should not expand.
Amen.
How can Senate President be a judge in his own case? By right, he should be excluded. What he has done to our woman. No apology.
The coalition also passed a vote of confidence on the suspended senator, affirming their commitment to stand by her.
She can't be silent anywhere, anytime. Natasha is for us and we will fight for Natasha. If you come for Natasha, you are a victim. If Natasha comes for you, you are the victim.
They're also demanding the immediate revocation of the suspension of the lawmaker by the Senate.
Coming up on the program, Vice President asks legislators to enact laws that will tackle food security. We'll give you details in a moment. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Vice President Kashim Shettima has asked legislators to make laws that will promote nutrition and food security. He made this known during a meeting with the National Legislative Network on Nutrition and Food Security at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Our State House correspondent, Empress Simon, has this report.
Vice President Kashim Shettima is meeting federal and state lawmakers in the country to secure their buy-in for the federal government's Nutrition 774 initiative. The 2023-2024 Nigeria Demographic and Health Survey shows an estimated 3 million children in the country suffer from severe acute malnutrition, and only 2 out of 10 children affected are currently reached with treatment. The Vice President notes the nexus between security, long-term stability and economic growth as he calls for urgent action.
This initiative is structured to improve coordination, financing and accountability while ensuring that every mother and child, regardless of where they live, has access to life-saving nutrition interventions tailored to their needs. For too long, our responses to malnutrition have been fragmented, donor-driven and inconsistent. Nutrition 774 changes that. It is government-led, government-funded and government-implemented because we understand that food security cannot be outsourced.
On their part, the lawmakers led by the chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Nutrition and Food Security, Chike Okafo, are sure of their support.
We saw the need to come to see him, not only because he is the vice president, but because he's also passionate. And recall that his office, the federal government, through his office, have also initiated the N774 initiative. So, which is also resonating well with what we are doing, or what we chose to do when the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Ibas, set up the Committee on Nutrition and Food Security. We now also took it to the states. So N774 is also taking it further to the other subnational. So we believe that we need a synergy, we need that cooperation, we need the blessing and support of his office.
The federal government has adopted a whole society approach and expects that the strategy will contribute to the drop in the rate of malnutrition in the country. From the Presidential Villa, Empress Simon, Channels Television News.
The National Human Rights Commission has advocated for an interagency collaboration for the implementation of the National Action Plan for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Mr. Tony Ojukwu, made the call at the official presentation of the plan in Abuja. According to him, the implementation of the National Action Plan will impact citizens' lives positively as it covers a wide area of recommendations.
To acknowledge the presence of the
officials of the National Human Rights Commission are joined by their civil society allies for the presentation of the 2024 to 2028 National Action Plan for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights in Nigeria.
Than what you have in chapters 2.
The action plan is a document that outlines civil, political, economic, social and cultural rights of citizens. The Commission is advocating interagency collaboration for the promotion and enforcement of these rights.
The essence of today's workshop is to activate the implementation framework for the National Action Plan, to bring together key stakeholders across government agencies, civil society and development partners. We recognize that effective implementation requires a coordinated, multi-sectoral and interagency approach.
In her remarks, the Deputy British High Commissioner emphasizes the need for citizens to hold leaders accountable.
In terms of going forward in implementing this plan, let's ask for accountability. We elect our leaders. We should hold them accountable. We should hold ourselves accountable when we have a mandate for human rights implementation ourselves. Human rights is a whole of country, whole of mission response. We all have a part to play.
The declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State also featured during the conversation.
Democracy is human rights. the right of the people to choose their leaders is a human right. The power of the executive to remove an elected leader, governor or legislators is not a human right. It's a usurpation of the functions of our democratic system. And we must certainly condemn what has happened in Ibas State. President Tinubu has no powers to remove elected legislators and an elected governor.
The National Action Plan is a 4-year strategy for the promotion and protection of human rights in Nigeria.
To education now. Many students gain admission into higher institutions of learning with clear ideas of their chosen career path. But lack of access to information that can inform their choices and ensure success in their chosen field still remains a problem. In a bid to bridge the knowledge gap between academic pursuits and career success, a non-governmental organization has organized a career seminar for students in higher institutions of learning. The event was held at the Benue Theatre, Federal University of Technology, Minna, the Niger State capital.
This event, organized by the Halima Babangida Foundation, drew over 1,200 students from various institutions to provide guidance and insights into successful career paths, often overlooked in formal classroom settings. The seminar provides a platform for students to engage with industry experts, learn about emerging trends, and gain practical advice in navigating the job market. Students like Aisha is a 400-level student with concerns about her future after graduation.
As a student, there is concerns about career paths, especially how you do when you leave the university, based on the fact that Nigerian system, sorry to say, it's kind of not proper, if I can use that word. You know, there are a lot of bias stuff going on, connections and all. So yes, concerns on getting opportunities, even if you are the best, sometimes in Nigeria.
From the program so far, I've realized that we have to identify our long-term plan goals. That is, what are your plans for the future? And then you have to have a mentor, someone you look up to. You want to achieve the same goals that they have achieved. And also, as Muslims, we have to do everything to our possible best. There is no limit for us, and we should not stay back for the less.
The initiative is hailed as a timely intervention designed to empower students with the knowledge and skills required to excel in an increasingly competitive job market.
Our focus is clear, is on education, and then emancipation of poverty through empowering education. So everything that we do is structured towards strengthening education. You want funding for your iftar program, okay, that's fine, we can give you a token, but then it's not just about the money, it's about what do we do that actually advocates for better educational achievement, and that is what we have been able to do. So here today we have been able to talk to them, to inspire them. So I shared personal stories with my trajectory both in Nigeria and America, just for them to know that I'm very young and tender. If I can do all of this, they can do that. And many of the things I achieved were when I was in the university. And the foundation, which is owned by Hajiya Halima Babangida, is very intentional about educating, inspiring, and the emancipation of poverty. And to do this, we only have one core value: support education.
As Nigeria continues to grapple with the challenges of unemployment, slowing economic growth, initiatives like this career seminar are described as crucial in empowering the next generation of leaders by unlocking their full potential and building a brighter future for all.
Still on education, the Nasarawa State Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment Agile project, has trained facilitators to implement the Second Chance Education program. The training, which will be stepped down at the non-formal centers, is to equip facilitators on basic literacy, numeracy, and life skills in the state. The State Agile Project Coordinator, Aisha Liu, said the essence is to improve the livelihood of adolescent girls.
The training is to build their capacity to be able to equip out-of-school girls with critical life skills that will help them navigate through adulthood challenges. It is basically to equip them with basic and literacy skills, numeracy skills, and to also educate them on reproductive health and ways to mitigate gender-based violence, in addition to equipping them with digital skills and other livelihood skills. At the end of it, we're expecting the facilitators to train these girls to acquire skills, entrepreneurship skills like maybe tailoring, leatherworks, digital capacity skills, and some other skills that will help them function effectively in the society.
The Agile project is taking place in one part of Nasarawa State. The governor, Abdullahi Sule, has flagged off the distribution of 30,000 bags of rice to vulnerable persons in the state. During the flag-off exercise in Lafia, the state capital, the governor said the rice was part of the Dangote Foundation's initiative to share 1 million 10 kilograms of rice across some states in the country. He added that the initiative is also allocated to the 13 local government areas in the state for onward distribution to vulnerable persons. The governor added that modalities are in place to ensure the rice reaches the intended beneficiaries across the 147 electoral wards.
In reality, Dangote did this last year, the distribution of rice, 1 million bags of this 10 kg throughout Nigeria. This year is doing the same, distributing 1 million bags of the 10 kg throughout Nigeria. They are distributed according to either population or the recognition of the state by the foundation. I'm happy to tell you that only the states of Kano, Lagos, Ogun, Kogi, Yobe, no, not Yobe, Kogi, Borno, and the rest that have more than Nasarawa state. So Nasarawa is among the top 10 number actually that is receiving this. This is to thank the Dangote Foundation because of the recognition being given to Nasarawa state. We are not one of the most populated states, but because Dangote Foundation believes that we have the vulnerable people in the state, that is the reason why we are among the top 10 of the states that are actually receiving this.
That's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinlami.